everyone, today I'm going to show you how to circular cast on for knitting. So circular cast on method is helpful when you are working in the round and you want to start your work from the centre. So for example, I use this technique for a lot of my toy patterns. As you can see here at the top of the head, I've used a circular cast on for my sloth design. So it's can be a bit tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's a really useful technique to know. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a loop around our fingers. Now, it's really important that when you're making this loop that you put the tail end underneath the working yarn. So the tail end here is underneath your working yarn. So now what we're going to do is going to grab a needle and we're going to insert it through the loop, and then we're going to just grab the working yarn and draw up a stitch like that. And then that's stitch number 1. So stitch number 2, what we're going to do is we're going to do a yarn over just like that. So for stitch number 3, we go in again and we draw up another stitch. So that's stitch number 3. Then stitch number 4 is a yarn over again. And so we keep on doing that until we get to the required number of stitches that your pattern calls for. For my patterns, most of them require 8 stitches, so I'm going to go ahead and cast on 8. So we're going to go insert, draw up a stitch, that's 5, 6, and insert, draw up a stitch, 7, and then the last stitch, a yarn over, is 8. So now what we do is you turn the needle around. Just be careful that you don't lose that last yarn over stitch. Okay. And then what we do, just put the yarn over there, is we grab the tail end and we pull that nice and tight and we draw up all those stitches. Now, if you've cast on an even number of stitches, your last stitch will be a yarn over stitch. And so you have to be really careful with that stitch that you don't lose it. And so what I do now is before I join the work in the round, I will just knit, oh, see, I nearly lost it. I will just knit across this row, and what that will do is that will stabilise all those stitches. But with this yarn over stitch here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit into the back leg of the stitch like that, because what that will do is that'll just twist it and just give that stitch a bit more stability. Okay, and so now we are going to just knit across this entire row. Whoops. Okay, and now we pull that tail end again and draw all the stitches together. And so now what you're going to do is you will divide those stitches over your double pointed needles, and then you can join the work in the round. So that is how you do a circular cast on for knitting.